for myself, by the way.
So
Man, I
I was
don't know
accepted
why.
to be on Jeopardy.
Whoa!
Wait, hold the shit
This did
time
not make my
out.
notes here.
Not
Where
on the
is that,
list.
Morgan?
We're gonna have to
do
shit
not-
can Morgan
did
for
you
this
see
one.
that?
Did
Yeah.
not see this.
I don't see
Not
that.
on
Wait,
the
let me
list.
take a look.
I'm sitting between two power chamber people. I just realized that.
Power.
I mean, you had
Consider yourself lucky.
You had a slow stint or a short stint.
brief,
Probably
yeah.
also
brief.
slow. Yeah.
And also, you're like, what am I doing?
It was awesome.
You just wing it.
Yeah.
If you care about the community and you've kind of been around the world, you figure it out.
Yeah. No, we did some stuff. I can't name one thing, but I think I got something done while I was there.
See, I'm really here just to support you two during this one because you guys have so much coming. You have your own podcast. You've been
do.
doing for how long?
I started it probably like March of 21.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good.
So
run.
we do like
So you're-
little seasons, like 8 episodes, 12 episodes, and then take a break, fall, spring. So
Nice.
And you had Brad on yours.
I did.
So now the tables turned. Are you nervous
Come
of
full
the
circle.
tough questions he's going to give you today?
You know, I
To get you
don't
back?
really operate on being nervous.
Going into a live shoot though, it's a little bit more. There's a little extra to that. Here we can,
We can
mess
cut
up
it
as
up.
many times as we want. And say, like,
Stuff it up.
let's do that again. That was awful, including this intro that we're slowly going into without even doing an intro.
Yeah, right.
But sometimes it just works that way.
Or you could just like do the intro and like edit it in and then flow seamlessly.
Stay tuned. We're gonna do an intro real quick.
Spoken like a true podcaster over there.
Yeah.
Wes, why don't you do this one, Mr. Chamber? Let's do it.
Well, I did wear this jacket for a certain reason today.
You always look fly.
I want to welcome Kari Puleo here today. Utica Chamber of Commerce. Wait, Greater Utica Chamber?
Greater Utica. Yeah. We're expansive.
Commerce?
We're inclusive.
Inclusive.
Very inclusive environment.
Absolutely.
So are we in year 2 or 3 of your reign there?
I started March of 21. So 24 will be
Wow.
closing up 3 years and heading into 4.
That's quick.
Time flies.
Yeah. And
That's
December
crazy.
is a busy month, right? It's
It is.
got to be stuff flying everywhere for you.
Yeah, December is always a really good month. We have our Business of the Year awards, which are great. Our young professionals put on a really cool fundraiser called Jingle Jam. This year it benefits the public library. Our December business after hours is always an extremely fun one, hosted by the Bank of Utica.
Yeah, that's been a common theme on these podcasts. Everybody knows that.
Just RSVP'd for that one, so we're in good shape there.
Yes, I saw that come through. So that's always a great one. I host New Year's Eve with the mayor and Barry Sinnott from the Bank of Utica. So that's a fun way to wrap up the year and support the community. And then all the other things that you have in between, including, everybody else's holiday parties that you attend and network at and, kind of celebrate all of our accomplishments. So December is always kind of a wild and crazy month in Chamberland.
It sounds fun. I haven't been. I got to admit, I haven't been to the New Year's event yet. So I'm excited to go this year.
Yeah.
You're
gonna
coming?
You
We're
gotta
gonna get it. I gotta get that in. Gonna find a sitter for the kids though. Still 1 and 3. I'll bring them for a
Yeah.
little bit, but I gotta hand off. It's
Yeah,
so fun to be there as an
absolutely.
adult. A lot of activities going on. The cook-off I hear is still a thing, right?
Yeah, chili cook-off
Chili
between-
cook-off, and that's who's that voted on by?
That is voted on by the public.
by the public. It is
Yep.
the public. Okay.
It is the public. You go through and,
And this is a big year because it's
1 and 1?
1 and 1.
yeah.
I mean,
So we'll see who
you
takes
didn't
it
know
this
about
year.
that competition going on. We'll see what's happening.
Yeah.
Very serious. They take it very serious. The police and fire departments.
But Wester went last year. Thought it was a very good time.
It was great. Brought the whole fam. So we did the 9 o'clock children's New Year's Eve part. So we saw our
Leon.
illusionist there with Leon. Then the countdown at 9 o'clock, which is our pseudo midnight.
Yep.
So we had a lot of fun. It was great.
Yeah.
But you're up there on stage hosting.
Yeah.
The old
it's
MC.
great.
And this year's kind of odd because it's
Yeah.
Paul Mary's is his
A
last
handoff
one.
point.
It's his birthday,
It's
right?
his birthday, so that always makes it a little extra
and
special.
it's kind of his send off. It's
kind of his
Is he
send-off.
going to be sentimental up there?
I think he is going to be. I think he's, I think the city has meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
This was an event that, him and Barry kind of cooked up and they were both really passionate about it. And I think it's going to be a really kind of fun year. And, we got a lot of special things happening. We've got some things that we've done in the past. We've got some new things happening. We do 3 larger bands, live bands. We do smaller intermission acts. We have fun things like horse and carriage rides and ice carvers and dancers in the window. They've got, kind of the people who do.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I pointed that out to Lauren when we were there. I said, that's Barry's office. And that has nothing to do with tonight. That dancer's there year round, just in his office.
So there's a lot of fun things. There's going to be, to keep warm. There's fires that you can kind of, bonfires in the street to keep warm, and all sorts of activities for the kids. The Utica Zoo, the Children's Museum, Mobile Museum will be there, and just some other fun surprises. And we've got new this year, we've got ice skeet ball and ice cornhole.
Oh.
So that'll be kind of fun. Yeah. So a lot of different things that you can do.
That's not, and free to attend. Anybody can show up.
Yep.
Just small security, obviously keeping things safe there within the blocks of where's the fun
So it's
happening?
blocked off right at the Delta Hotel up to Fort Schuyler Club. So I think those are kind of the block offs. And then, all the restaurants in the footprint are serving food and drinks. There's Utica Club being poured by the United Way and Utica Coffee. So supporting some of our local businesses as well with the power of the United Way. So it's really a really fun event that's fun for adults, fun for kids, free to attend. You can get a hotel and make a whole night of it. You can make reservations downtown and go from dinner there, pop in and warm up at some places. But it's really a great night. It's really cool for our city, and it ends with fireworks.
Nice.
Any rehearsal for the on stage, or do you guys just wing it up there?
We kind of wing it. We do have, our little kind of notes, and you never know what's going to happen in a live event. So
I mean, Palmieri's last year, when you're going out, you might as well, you just never know what's going to happen.
Is he looking for a big birthday cake? I mean, anything special going on here or no?
You'll have to come to the event and find out.
I like the
So,
tease.
A little bit of a
yeah,
tease there. Nice.
Yeah, but so I prepped some fun little notes, and in case bands, you got something that might be delayed a couple of minutes on the program or whatever. So I try to be prepared.
And will there be an appearance from the new mayor? Who?
I believe so. So the evening actually opens with the swearing in of the Common Council and the new mayor.
Okay.
The new mayor is going to be, he has traditionally been sworn in on New Year's Day. He's very traditional about that he's been doing that up at the Eagle with his family. So he will be there. I don't think he'll be being sworn in per se, but he'll probably do something ceremonial.
Wise move.
Yeah.
I'd wait till the next day too.
Just in case.
So, it's a tradition
knows,
for him.
never know
It's
what's
very
going on.
meaningful,
Yeah.
and it's a tradition. So he's going to wait till the next day to do his actual swearing in. But I think he's going to do something ceremonial, and he'll definitely be around at some point in the evening. So I think he'll do one of the little bits up on stage.
Love it. What else is happening at the chamber? With the obviously. Utica's been really fun to us, really supportive of us. A lot going on at the chamber with the memberships you guys provide. What's the overall goal of your chamber? Not your chamber, but the Utica chamber in general, because it does vary. As you go city to city. But if you were to sum up Utica and what it brings to the people and the businesses of Utica, what's the gist?
Yeah, so I think, obviously we have huge networking events. That's probably the thing that we're most known for. People come to our business after hours. People know our main events, our golf tournament, which you guys have both golfed in, is always sold out. So we've got some really big events that kind of give that networking opportunity to people. But then there's also a lot of other things that we do. We do an educational event every month through our Small Business Council. So if you're looking to learn more about social media marketing or something specific with accounting, or, we've really talked a lot about HR issues and retaining and attracting talent. That's been huge over the last years post-COVID, especially when you talk about younger employees and what they want. And, they're very into their work culture and different flexible benefits. And
The work from home.
yeah, and different, I think different things they're attracted to. They're interested in sustainability. They're interested in, more global outcomes and how they impact the world. And interact with it. So I think, some more traditional businesses have to think creatively and strategically about retaining employees because, it costs a lot of money to hire somebody, train somebody, get somebody new up to speed. We had some turnover in staff this year, and it takes a lot to get people onboarded and to teach them about your company and your culture and do all the things. So, especially, there's some probably positions where if you're an accountant at A and B, very transferable skills.
Sure.
There's a lot of jobs that are very different in different businesses. So we do educational events every month. Our Government Affairs Council is probably one of our bigger ones. Some people always think that a chamber is a not-for-profit, and while we're a 501c6. So we have the ability to lobby, which makes us a little different than most nonprofits. We can, if we choose to, endorse political candidates. Currently, we do not do that. We do a scorecard, and we ask candidates when they're running how they feel about certain issues that we have public policies on, so you can kind of see how they're aligned with business. We're always looking at that from a pro-business lens. We're not looking at social issues or things of that nature. We're really looking at it just from their business perspective. And so our government affairs, we usually have, if not our elected officials there, a representative. You can come, you can talk about your issues, you can talk about different bills that are enacted. We talk a lot about the CLCPA, how that's affecting manufacturing, or any business really, but manufacturers specifically. We just had the ISO in to talk about the CLCPA and what the implications of that and how is our grid going to be supported. Are these goals achievable and financially can the state reach them? So we delve a lot into a lot of different public policy issues. I think that's something that maybe some people aren't aware of and that we focus on fairly heavily within our chamber. So those are kind of some things that are, kind of unique to us. We also have a young professionals group, our Catalyst group, which, they've been around for about 10 years now, and they do a lot of networking, volunteering, leadership building activities. So that's also really exciting. And that really goes a long way in talking about developing your employees, but also, different things that you can offer them. Like, hey, I'd like to see you grow in some leadership, and I think you should get involved in this group. And if your employer kind of encourages that and embraces that, it makes you as an employee and an individual like, hey, they think that I'm worthy of, someday moving up the line, and they want me to participate these things, represent our company, and develop these skills. So it's also skill building and leadership development and kind of helping employers in that way too.
And how do they get involved with the Catalyst, and if they're looking for an outsource like that, or the company's looking for an outsource or something like that?
So the number one thing is, our Catalyst group, they have their own steering committee. But you don't have to be on the steering committee. So their steering committee operates just like a board. They make decisions for themselves. They have different task force. They have somebody who manages the volunteer opportunities. They have somebody who manages their events. And then they have a membership chair. But they also do things like meetups. And so they have... you can sign up on our website to get on their email list and get information on that, or they have a Facebook group, and it's the Catalyst group, and they have a Facebook group, so they put all their events and meetups in there. So that's another way that you can get involved with them. And then lastly, the biggest thing that we do is talent attraction. So some people have heard of our What's Upstate initiative, and we partnered with the Rome Chamber, Herkimer Chamber, Genesis Group, Oneida County Tourism, Mohawk Valley Edge, and of course our supporting partner, the Community Foundation, to launch whatsupstateny.com. We launched that last summer at the Boilermaker, really showcasing everything that's great about our area. Right now it encompasses Oneida, Herkimer, and Otsego County. All three counties are involved in this project. And our employers, as they're looking for talent outside of the area, as Wolfspeed was moving in, Danfoss, the hospital, especially with their residency program, there's not a lot of great ways to show off upstate New York. If you Googled Utica, New York, you would get some not so great articles. Mm-hmm. So really kind of flipping that script, showing people who we are, really just like a newspaper does through the power of storytelling. So telling who we are as people and individuals and as a community, We showcase all the different communities. So we talk about Rome and Clinton and, Barneveld, and kind of show off all the different things that we have to offer. We've got downtown loft apartments. We never had that before. So we really have a little something for everybody. Some things to think about. You fly into LAX, sometimes takes an hour to get to your hotel from the airport. It may only be 6 miles, but it takes an hour. It takes an hour to get to Syracuse. So we're not, a 60-mile drive. We're an hour away. We really have to think about, how big cities promote themselves, market themselves, to market ourselves to people. When I lived in D.C., I'd have to etch out 4 hours to go to the grocery store. It's not a quick trip to Target. Saturday, just to go that, 6 miles to Target on a Saturday is half a day. And towing kids along, you guys both have young kids, what that's like, putting them in the car, doing errands. It's a whole quality of life thing that we have upstate.
Yeah, we lose our mind over a 10-minute traffic hold up on.
Yeah, if you have to wait for one cycle of a light around here, you are livid.
And try to find parking in big cities too. Trying to find a parking spot,
Yeah.
So it's all of that and showcasing who we are, what we have for jobs, what our entrepreneurial spirit's like. We've got, huge things happening here, with advanced manufacturing and tech moving in, the new hospital and the jobs and healthcare that's around that. So really to showcase, everything that we are, and we're constantly working on that initiative as well, which is really beneficial to all of our HR employees that work for businesses.
So it's more than just carrying around a big pair of scissors.
It is.
Cutting
it's
ribbons.
A lot more. Yeah. That's kind of like the ceremonial thing, right? That's the celebration and the promotion, and I always remember that this is their big day, and it's great, going to those ribbon cuttings, learning more about the businesses, getting inside, going on those tours, establishing those connections. And a lot of what we do too is, making connections. Somebody was telling me, so I was at Danfoss, and this woman was telling me, I've got a new employee. She's from Brazil. She's, having, some cultural things. And I said, yesterday I was at MMRI. They have a scientist, advanced manufacturing, science. They've got that science background. They also have a young woman from Brazil. We can make that connection, develop friendships. Because some of the times you see people who move here, and, I kind of felt this way when I moved here. So I moved here. I wasn't born and raised in the area. Both my parents were. My grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. Everybody lived here. I've always had a bedroom here at my grandparents' house. So I've spent a lot of time and have a deep rooted history. I had a church. I had all these things, but I didn't have high school friends because I didn't go to high school here. And when I first moved here, it's a little slow going finding your community. You find, people kind of already have their community and their relationships. So to break in, trying to be that welcoming spirit and making those connections. Because if you have somebody move here for a job and they don't feel that they're welcomed and they're not tied into the area, how long are you really going to retain that employee?
That's a good point. We've actually heard that from a different source. Everyone's great around here. They love the lifestyle. They love how it's relaxed. The people are great, but trying to find new friends and new groups of people when you're new to the area is sometimes a little more difficult than it seems like it would be because everyone's kind of already in there.
Yeah, and it really depends on, who you are as a person,
Right.
Oh, sure. But a lot of the close cliques, I guess, or whatever, are people that have been here for years and years and years.
Right.
It's not a transient city, right? You don't have a lot of the ebb and flow of traffic and people traveling. But that with that changing, we always talk about the eateries and the stuff that need to be formed to form these public environments or in Catalyst and Ripe and Rome, all these things that really need to start catching up to what the big cities have for meetups and that kind of thing. We're not a big city, which I think is a plus for us. As we mentioned, there are a lot of advantages, but I think we're slowly getting caught in this middle ground. What are we as a city? How do we catch up with some of a small Silicon, right? How do we create a walkable vibe? How do we create the hangout spots? And that's just part of it.
And I think some of that is even creating that synergy between Utica and Rome, because if we market ourselves as an area with 100,000+ people versus, the city of Utica was 65, and I'm not exactly sure what Rome has.
You're about 35.
Yeah, 35. Yeah.
So we
Utica's
market
so far away,
ourselves.
though.
I know if we market
That
ourselves,
Route 49 is brutal.
That's why we have the attractions that we have. That's why we're able to support a Stanley Theater and get Broadway quality shows. That's why we have a hockey team and the Nexus Center. That's why we have the restaurants we have, because we are a larger area than sometimes we think we are. And I think we need to start thinking more regionally, because that's just going to attract so many more assets that benefit all of us.
And a lot of that does have to come with, we have two, Utica being the bigger metro, but we have two cities that kind of formed really close to each other.
Yeah.
Which you don't really see as much as you go through.
It's a bit unique.
It's just it's just something that kind of brewed when we're 16, 17 minutes from my Rome office to Utica office. I was talking.
Right.
It's not that far.
Yeah, it seems kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous in a way.
Right.
But it has, even as a Sentinel over the years, it's been a struggle being the smaller metro. And
Right.
now as we try to break down those barriers, which we continue to try to do. Oh, it's all right. We can, it's all right.
Missed them out.
She's on her first set, people. No, we're good. But it's just a struggle that's always been there, and I think that it's slowly changing. I mean, I don't know, with the AHL, having those bigger events, I think the struggle has been more Utica to Rome than Rome to Utica.
Yeah.
And anything we can build around here, or the companies, and it's all gonna start working off each other.
Yeah.
I agree with the Googling though. The what's upstate. Unfortunately, I wish we had more control of what's at the top of Google when you search Rome, New York, or Utica, New York. It is.
We're working on it.
It's tough. We had Morgan. We had 1.1 million clicks last month, but when you look at some of the bigger stories that fuel that, it's tough.
Yeah.
It is. But if you look a little bit deeper, there's a lot of great things happening,
Yeah.
and it's just too bad. It's hard. You all right over there, More? We need. Where's your mic over there? I left you hanging.
Do you need another cigarette? Or are you good?
You smoking over there? What happened?
My mic is, so.
What I
Thanks so
do?
much.
What I do? Oh, it's Wes. If you untangle that,
I was gonna ask
she's chomping at the bit with Morgan Cam back here.
started, so.
Yeah, just get.
the actual mic? It's over there.
I'm not even gonna cut this out. This is just how we roll here.
This is Captain.
This is live. This is what it's like. But
Yeah.
Lasso it over.
Great. Thanks. Now I can plug in.
Now,
All right, you got you turned up here.
now things are going to get exciting.
Oh.
Click.
You hear me?
Did you hear that one?
Oh yeah, there it is. Got her.
I don't got.
What you got,
I
Morgan?
don't have anything yet.
Oh, I thought you.
Oh,
Oh, I
okay.
thought you. Oh, okay.
she's
Oh
just
no, I was
I
just
thought you
coughing
gave us
and you
the
made fun of
sign.
me. So sorry.
she's like, I know
yeah.
it's gonna get juicy here. So
Can you just double
I'll be
check?
ready.
Can you just double check that camera because that just got kicked? Is that good? We look good. How's my hair?
You don't want me to answer that. I'm just kidding.
It's a mop. I'm sorry.
It looks good. It looks good.
Anyway,
This looks great. Looks
where
great
were
on
we?
you.
All right, we're on the Google hits. There was another thing. Oh, if we were gonna ever get invited back to the Choo Choo, you mentioned that we were part of the Choo Choo, but
The Choo Choo.
yeah,
yeah, coach, come back.
I know.
We took a year off.
We took a year
a year
off.
off.
We had a few people upset with us last year, so or 2 years ago. So we stepped aside.
Well, everyone's upset because Morgan played so well and carried us to a great score, whatever the hell we shot.
I don't know, 55.
Les, you didn't play with me this year, and I'm better.
Do you use a laser or no?
I don't use a laser like Sarah. What is it called?
Rangefinder.
Rangefinder.
Yeah, laser. Rangefinder.
No, I don't use
That's so
that.
funny. She's really good at golf. She uses a
She-
laser.
She uses
Yeah.
a laser.
I said rangefinder.
Did you? Nice.
You actually didn't play with me this year, but I'm better.
Oh, good.
Brad,
You are.
Back me
I
up.
did. You're doing great. This is an interview about you. This is about Kari.
I just got my
And I'm-
first set of golf clubs this year, so
See,
I'm
now we're
baby,
back on Kari,
baby
Greg.
stepping into it.
All right,
That's-
let's hear about it.
Baby
Yeah.
stepping
Yeah.
into
Give us
it.
the scoop on your golf game.
What made you do it? What made you make the jump?
Well, I've been golfing more, and different companies have asked me to golf in different tournaments. So I've borrowed clubs for the last couple of years, and then I finally said my son got me clubs for Mother's Day, so I could start
good.
kind
You got
of.
clubs for Mother's Day?
Did I have a very good boy?
I guess so. I mean, Mother's Day. If you get a card, that's great.
It is one of those sports, and just in the business world in general, it's you. There's this
Yeah.
golf everywhere. Fundraisers and chamber events, and just going out with a few people and having a cocktail. It's as long as you can understand it's more about the people and hanging out than the game. Anybody will do fine.
Right.
Just gotta get around.
But it is fun to see the progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
know,
so
it's-
no, didn't get out as much as I would like. This summer was really intense at work. but that just means next year I can get into
We're
a
gonna
little
have
bit
to
better,
keep
a
an
little
eye
bit
out.
more.
Yeah.
and-
So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I will say Wes is an amazing instructor.
I did do a little with the Rome Chamber. You did like that little golf lesson, and I like his tips were great. I
He's
need a
really good.
refresher. That was a couple years ago.
All right.
I think that was like in
we could schedule
2021
that.
or
Yes.
Maybe that is something that you could almost do regularly. Is so at Fisher, you went to Nazareth.
I went to Nazareth,
We'll have to
yeah.
talk about that a little bit. At Fisher, there was a 1 credit golf class in business school that everybody had to take
In business
Oh,
school?
that's
in business
awesome.
school, so you
Interesting.
understood the etiquettes. How to move play along.
Right.
All
It's
those.
not about
Yeah.
having to be a great golfer. Just
Right.
know how to get around in a scramble,
Right.
right?
Had
Yeah.
nothing to do with the skill. It just
Right.
had to do with why you're at the golf course.
Right.
The basic rules, where to stand, what
That's
not to
pretty
do.
clever.
And a
learned a
lot
lot.
of people took it.
Yeah.
A
I
lot
took
of people
horseback
took it.
riding in college. That was what
They
I
did
took
have
in
A lot of
Well,
business
did they-
deals done on the back of a horse. I mean, I can't
know.
count how many I've heard of.
I just thought it was really fun and unique to take horseback riding and
So Nazareth garbage plates. I
Yeah.
mean,
Nick
all right.
Tahoe's.
Nick
Yeah.
Tahoe's. Okay, I was going to ask where the go-to was.
Yeah. We did serve. They did have late night garbage plates at the dining hall back when I was in school. They were pretty
they pretty
decent.
good?
They were
Is it
Okay.
pretty
authentic
decent,
if it's at
you
the
know.
dining hall or no?
Well, it was like 1 a.m., so did it really
You're
matter?
really just going for something
Yeah.
out of
Yeah,
it.
did it really matter?
Yeah.
It was like 1 a.m. It was fine.
Part of the meal
but-
plan.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah, I dated a girl from Nazareth briefly, just right down the street. I mean, maybe a mile apart, not far
I
from
think less
Fisher,
than a
maybe
mile,
less
yeah.
than that.
Less
yeah.
than a mile apart. Wow.
Yeah, I met Adam Sandler
they-
at Fisher.
Oh,
Yeah, he was there.
Fun
doing
fact.
events.
so
Fun
they
fact.
they actually used to work. Nazareth was the girls' school,
Yep.
and
Oh,
Fisher
one of
was
those, like-
was
Yeah.
the
Like
was the
Hobart,
guys'
William
school.
Smith, that type of thing.
And then
yeah.
the ratios actually flipped when I was looking at this back when I was at Fisher.
Was that a big
First-
stat for you picking
It was
what
a
school?
big stat for me. It was a
Yeah.
60-40 split.
You'd
in our
have a
favor.
chance?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it
So
was
how long did you
fairly
think
even.
this girl from Naz? How long until she figured out who you were and dumped your ass?
Actually, she was from Rome.
She had the inside scoop before she even got there.
Yeah, no. A lot going on back then, Yeah, East Rochester. I loved it there.
I loved it there. I had a great time.
Smaller schools, liberal arts still
Liberal
there.
arts,
yeah.
yep.
Yep.
I went to college to be a physical therapist. And then, I got through calculus, I got through organic chemistry, and then I said, I don't really want to do this. And so I took all of those intense courses, and I was like, okay, what can I take and graduate in 4 years?
Yeah.
Because if I don't graduate in 4 years, I'll be a failure. I didn't think my parents didn't put pressure on me. It was all internal, but I
Sure.
was like, well, I got to graduate in 4 years, otherwise.
So what was the stepping? Where'd you head after as a Nazareth? How'd you get to where you are today? What was the journey?
So after Nazareth, my college roommate was a poli-sci major, and she said, let's move to Washington, D.C. And I said, let's do it. Packed up our car, no jobs, no apartment. We drove to D.C. We lived in this little, ghetto hotel for like a week over by American University.
Oh,
Heard of it? Yeah.
that's his home.
Yeah.
That's where he went.
So little crappy little hotel for a week and just kind of searched out places. And then I actually worked at a temp agency until I could find a job. And I did a lot of really cool things. I worked on some political campaigns. I worked.
Were you guys down there? When the
No,
timelines?
I was there from 2000 to 2005.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there from 98 to 02.
There you go. So
Oh.
we crossed paths a
Oh,
little
well,
bit.
look at that! Look at you guys go.
And
Could have
so
been neighbors.
yeah, did that for a couple
Ever
months.
go to
and then I-
Recessions Bar? It's way down in the basement. That was a great joint. Have you ever been there?
Yeah,
but,
been there. And
Just
then-
saying.
Like I said, you guys just keep going. I'm just
Yeah.
here to enjoy.
And then I ended up working at the Smithsonian. So that's where I
wow.
landed after, probably 2.5, 3 months of interesting temp jobs. I worked at the Smithsonian in their educational travel program, and I got to travel for a living. It was really great. Then 9/11 happened, and things switched a little. I mean, I still got to travel a lot. I got to go do a lot of really cool things. I hiked Machu Picchu. I did a cruise in Italy. I went to Alaska on a cruise. Just a lot of different fun adventures, and so it was great.
And what led you to Utica?
Getting back here.
Back
Yeah.
here, well, I had my son, and my grandmother was moving out of her house into my parents' house. She was getting older after my grandfather passed away, and my mom said I could stay at the house and raise Ryan, and I was
Great
kind
offer.
of like
Can't
at
pass
that.
on that.
I was
Yeah.
kind of at that like, how am I going to teach my kid to ride a bike? And I was living in an apartment
Yeah, it's
in
tough. Those big
the
cities.
Arlington
What do you-
area. Yeah,
do you-
great for going out and going to the
Sure.
bars and getting
Right.
home. Not
Yeah.
so
For
For
great
the next
when you
phase
have
of
a
life,
kid.
it's tough.
Yeah, not so great when you have a kid. And so I came back here. My mom, she was kind of like, "Are you sure? You sure?" I made the offer, but are you sure? Do you really want to do it? Like, you've got a great thing going. And I just made the decision, and I was a little hesitant. Again, didn't have a job. Had a place to live, didn't have a job. And I ended up working for the Department of Health. So doing some contract work and working on smoking cessation stuff. And so did that for a couple of years. All of my jobs have been with nonprofits for the most part. I did work for ConMed for a little bit in their marketing department. So had a couple of little jobs, a couple of years each, and then I was at Notre Dame for about 7 years, doing development, marketing, public relations, and doing that, kind of developing relations within the community, different relationships. I was on Catalyst, so I was on the steering committee, so I was starting to kind of get involved with the chamber and learning about what they do, forming friendships and, making different really good connections. And, my son was graduating and Meg was leaving, and it was kind of the right time to segue out of that. So that's kind of how I ended up at the chamber from short story. Skipped a lot of highlights.
Well,
but,
I mean,
you
that's
know.
cool. You have a great background for being in
Yeah.
charge of Chamber of Commerce. You've kind of done it all. It's nice.
Yeah,
You're not
you know,
just like
and-
one little path. You've kind of tried everything, traveled, seen a lot of things, and you can bring all that experience in. Yeah. Did you just like, all right, let me just apply for this thing and see what happens, or like, how did you get to the point where this might be my fit when you're at Notre Dame looking at the chamber gig?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd known Meg very well from, the relationship I had with her through, being in Catalyst. And, I kind of asked some leading questions, and I kind of thought it was a good fit of, all my skill sets. I would have to do different kind of public relations things at Notre Dame and speak on camera and things like that. I knew how to write a press release and all that kind of stuff. I worked in development, so I knew a lot of the different businesses and had relationships there. So I, had a good kind of in with a lot of people who were already members. So there was a lot of it. When I was in D.C., I worked on a couple of political campaigns, and the public policy piece, I was very comfortable working with government officials and talking about public policy. So there was like a lot of different things kind of all over the place. And when I worked at the Department of Health, I actually did some lobbying there too. So
It all
kind
came
of
together. Yeah, that's nice.
kind of just all fell together, and I knew several of the board members and knew that they were good people and cared about the community and kind of had the chamber's best interests. So I felt comfortable. It's kind of a job when you are an executive director of a small nonprofit and your board is your boss. They're constantly changing, right? If they're following their bylaws. So it's like you never know what
Which
you're in
direction
for.
you're going into, right?
Yeah. So, so at that time I knew the current board chair, I knew the incoming board chair. I did not know the vice chair, who is now our chair now. I had no previous relationship with him. But I knew for like a couple of years, I was like, okay, I can work. And, so it's, all these things that you consider when you're making different kind of career moves. So, and it was the right time, right? So we were coming out of COVID. My son was going off to college. The board was really eager to kind of open back up for business. We were still, our offices were still closed. At Notre Dame, I worked on the reopening plan. I worked on a lot of the COVID procedures and policies and stuff. So I had that little bit of, tool in my toolkit that would be helpful to the chamber as we were reopening. Funny story, the first annual meeting we had was the day you could take the masks off. So we were like kind of planning like an annual meeting that was in person, but would have been COVID safe. And then they announced that day, like, you could take your mask off. I was like, oh, big relief off your shoulders. So
Those were the days. Huh?
those were the days, not so
Don't
long
miss
ago,
it.
but feel like a long time ago.
A lot of truth to that.
I have some notes here, and I have a question I have to ask. 'Cause
Okay.
We had some great notes for you to prepare, and what I kind
Who
of
made the notes?
Well,
Morgan?
Morgan did. Loves football and plays fantasy. What's your record this year in fantasy football? And do you think there's any
This year is
skill at all
terrible.
involved, or is it
This
all
year
luck?
I'm awful. So I drafted a lot of people who got injured this year. So
Yes.
this year I've been bad. Usually I'm pretty decent. Again, something that started from being in Catalyst. You know, we all kind of did these. You know, it was a way to kind of make connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you start trying to form relationships with people, and you have your once a month meeting. But how do you like stay connected and develop deep friendships? You get
Breaking down
involved
the
in
barriers.
yeah,
It's-
just
it's-
little
yeah.
silly. It sounds silly. I've always loved football.
What's the name of your team? For your fantasy
Yeah,
football
I
team,
mean-
what is your? Do you have a clever name, or are you just?
I can bleep it
I
out
don't-
if it's
yeah.
if it's
Is it inappropriate?
Slightly inappropriate.
All right, let's see. We can leave it out.
We'll
That's bad.
bleep it out. What is it?
Yeah.
What we got?
Yes.
Yes, that's what we're going for.
All right.
Found the
Yeah.
intro.
Cheers to that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, but
yeah.
but,
Well played.
Like the whole interview is up for that. Is up to that point. I think that's what we were
Yeah.
building up to. That's
that
what
we
we
were
need
building
get
up to.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of how
we
that
didn't, we
word
didn't know that
works.
was the name of it. I think
Kind of how that word works.
So I asked Sarah.
there's a
I
little
was like,
foreplay, then we got there.
we're having Kari on tomorrow. Do you have any questions for me that I should ask? And she was like, well, she loves football and she plays fantasy football. I'm like, oh, that's definitely going on the list.
Yeah.
But we didn't know the team name.
I mean,
Yeah.
those names. That's actually a great,
Yeah.
follow-up question to all of our guests. I think because the names are just
Yeah.
all over the board.
So when I was leaving DC, right when I was leaving DC, I met this guy. I met him at a summer beach share. I had a beach share at Dewey Beach, and I'd already signed on to having a beach there before I committed to moving here. So I'd go from here to Dewey every other week. And I met this guy in the beach share, and we ended up dating for a couple of years. But he was living in Baltimore, and I was already here. And so he'd fly me to different games. He was a Chargers fan. So I would go every other weekend to a different football game. So that's kind of how, I'd liked football before that, but that really kind of got me
fair.
more into the game.
All right.
Chargers.
Chargers.
Our brother's team.
Oh, what,
My brother
really?
Josh loves the Chargers.
How does that? I mean,
He's pretty old now, so he loved Dan Fouts, and he loved their helmets are cool. But the lightning
that's
bolt, that's
when
cool.
you're
as
young.
hell.
Okay,
when you're
gotcha.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when I had a Toronto Raptors NBA jersey, just because I thought it was a cool.
You
hoodie
thought
back
that
in the day.
dinosaur thing was cool looking?
I was like 10. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know why that just came out of nowhere. I
Wow.
forgot about that. I was in Macy's. It's all coming back to me. I'm just having a moment.
He's like, and I saw the
I saw the
shirt,
shirt.
jersey,
I
and I
wanted
knew
it.
it was for me.
I went to mom. I asked for $25.
Was it a Vince Carter?
It didn't even have a guy. It was just
It's
the,
just-
it was
oh.
just a
Just a shirt.
hoodie. It was just a
Like, Mom, I need that. And Wendy's like,
just drawn
it's
to it.
yours.
I
Just shut up.
I
And I'll
won
buy
it.
it for you.
I call it a win. I got it. I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
Negotiating started from there.
Well,
It's
that was
important skill.
successful.
Very
It
important
really
skill.
is.
So anybody we have from Utica, Tex Mex always comes up.
Big
Is
fan.
that your go? Is that the go to, or do you
For Mexican?
yeah.
Yes. It's my go-to
And
for
what's your
Mexican,
order?
but I will say there are a lot of Mexican restaurants now opening in Utica, and I've been on the little healthier side the last probably 60 days, so I really haven't
Okay.
dove into them, but I hear some really good things about Cactus Katina Katrine is supposed to be really good.
It was really good.
Yeah, that's supposed to be really good.
Where's that one?
On Orsini Boulevard by the Hoffmans.
Yeah, like across from Bosses, like Kitty Corner.
Can you
or
get
whatever.
margaritas there?
I don't know. Morgan just went there, so
didn't-
I don't know.
I didn't get
They're
one.
getting their liquor license, but I don't know if they have it yet. So they may not have
I
it
don't
just
think
yet.
it was.
I haven't had a margarita yet from Tex Mex, but I hear I'm supposed
are.
to.
Yes, Tex Mex.
Missing out.
So during COVID, when they had to go margaritas, I'd go and get like 4 or 5 of them, and we put them in the freezer at the pool, and so they'd be like
she just
little
pounded
margarita
them right there.
slushies
No, 2.
because they're in pouches. Yeah.
You can't even
No,
make
the
a sentence.
styrofoam cups. They're like yay big.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Take a night.
Unwell.
Yeah.
Unwell. Speaking of unwell, how's your Sunny D
It's really good.
drink over there?
But
Should have got more.
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
So the Rio Grande plate.
Okay.
which is also like 2 meals. So I never eat the whole thing at once. But
I feel like
bread
most
plate.
Mexican can be like that. I mean, just
Yeah.
a full plate of.
Yeah.
You should just hear what's going on in my headsets right now.
What's going on over there?
I don't know if it's his headset or what's in between the headsets.
Yeah,
is what
could
he's
be.
hearing.
He hears
It's a
voices.
little- I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, other than such an ass. What are some of the other go-tos in Utica for you?
Oh my gosh, so many.
And I know there's a lot of good ones. We're not trying to call anybody out, but
Yeah, this is
everybody
tough.
has
Yeah.
to go
The
to
Chamber of
the
Commerce
chamber,
person.
and I know everybody has it,
So,
but just curious.
Like all-time favorite is Ventura's. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely all-time favorite is Ventura's. Like that's where, it's just authentic, family owned, like that cool,
Old
like
school
old
vibe.
school vibe.
Sure.
Handmade pasta. Like that would be like the ultimate go-to. More day-to-day stuff, loving Roosters. If you haven't been to Roosters, best fries I've ever had in my life.
I'm a big fry guy. Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Best fries. Seriously. If
endorsement.
you have
That is
not
an
been to
endorsement.
Roosters, you have to go to Roosters. And the burgers are slamming. You haven't been there either?
No,
I
or
think.
Venturas. I never been there.
Remember
Oh my
Venturas?
gosh.
No.
Morgan hasn't been to a place.
You got to go to the
Yeah.
Thank Utica
All right.
lunch.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a lunch there then. We're gonna do a
Yeah,
lunch there.
absolutely. Absolutely. Love Ancora. Love, mellow subs. Golden's is amazing. I work downtown, so you're
Just right
feeling
there.
some downtown vibes.
Sure.
I haven't eaten at the new Taylor and the Cook other than the ribbon cutting, but the stuff they had there. So I know that'll be, probably this
Gotta
month or
get there.
next month on my
I
list.
really
I've
enjoyed
been
the
there,
old place.
and I went there for a cocktail, which was fantastic. We went there the night before
So did they have?
Thanksgiving for drinks.
Is it a similar food vibe that they had prior, or what
So
did
it's,
they? What,
it's
what,
actually a little different.
Okay.
So they really wanted to make high-end farm to table more accessible to every day. So, Taylor and the Cook had this kind of special meal feeling to it. It was
Yeah.
intimate. People
Sure.
felt intimidated to go there. They really wanted to kind of make it more accessible to everybody. So they've got a whole bunch of different sections of the menu with more like burgers, and you can get pastas and small or large dishes, comfort food like meatloaf. And so there is that mix of, who they were and that little more modern accessibility.
I like that play because you get into those where you're like, it's only for anniversaries and a birthday,
birthdays.
but
Yeah, it's
so you
not
want to go to
like-
a restaurant more than twice a year.
But it was
Right.
kind of a cool
Right.
vibe though, because you
Yeah.
do have as nice as Ocean Blue and Nostro and some of those. It's still very big and can be loud and. I think there was kind of a a cool vibe
Yeah.
that Taylor and the Cook had, though.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's more of a one-off, and I totally get the play by Rob
Yep.
to do something like this. But I kind of, I'm hoping that I really enjoyed the food before, so they've always done a good job. So I'm excited to
And we still
to
have
do it again.
those intimate, Modus.
Modus
and
and yeah, sure,
Cafe
they're still there.
Knoll, Ancora.
Yeah.
The Willows is a little bit bigger, but again, that, really
Sure.
upscale kind of meal.
And a great location. I
Yeah.
mean, the move that whole section over there is up and coming and right by the office. So I'm looking forward to.
there you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
And a really cool vibe. And I hate saying this, but like you don't feel like you're in Utica.
Yeah.
I want that to be like, I'm in Utica. Right. So like the
Yeah.
first time you went to Ocean Blue, you kind of got that I'm not in Utica feeling.
yeah.
And
it's
I
like the
think the
steakhouse at
more we-
Metro vibe, yeah.
The
big-
more that
big
we have
fan.
that though is the more who we are, right? Like
Right.
we deserve these things.
Sure.
We deserve these, nice, good places that have, and I think what really kind of cements and makes Taylor and the Cook different is that farm to table and how important that is, like your local food and growing local. And, agribusiness is one of our areas, like it or not, or realize it or not, one of the most important economies to our area. And, if we don't continue to have people entering into that field and having farmers and people working in the agricultural industry, what are we going to eat? So it's it's a job that's kind of the dying breed, but luckily we've got some hardy upstaters who continue to do that work and love that work.
agreed. And kind of going back to a couple of things you said about the area, you've left and come back, and I think I wish there was we need to continue to convey a lot that we do have going on here. It's just the everybody we have coming on that deal with people that are coming into the area for the first time is like, this is great. You have great food. There's housing. There's golf. There's the lakes. There's entertainment. There's AHL teams.
Right.
There's, when you're there's still that old school, and always will be. There'll always be naysayers. I'm not saying that won't go away, but there's so much fun happening that if between Rome and Utica alone.
I know. On Friday night, I'm like, do I go to the teddy bear toss? Do I go to the Nutcracker? What do I do? I have tickets to both. What am I gonna?
Yeah, it's just fun to have theater and sports and food, and we're getting there. The breweries that are you have a handful of breweries now you can go to, which have great vibes and live music, and I really do think there's a lot, and maybe the other voices are just still have a lot of power, and I wish there's more we can do. Hopefully there is more we can do about it, but a lot of fun.
That's
a lot
why
of
you
good
need
things.
Places like chambers to be the cheerleaders, because usually it's the complainers that have the loudest voices, and the people who don't have the energy to be the complainers, their voice isn't as loud. So that's why we have a loud voice and like to support and promote all of the different places. And there's a lot of really cool, unique places that people have probably never heard of, but we're looking at. So we've got some ideas up our sleeves of different things that we might be doing to kind of expose some underrepresented and unknown, Everybody loves the Delmonicos, everybody loves Venturas, everybody loves those. But what about those smaller Tierras Tropicales,
You're scratching and clawing trying
to
get noticed. Right.
Yeah. So, very cool.
Tell us about the staff over there at the chamber for you.
Yeah, so we have some new staff this year. So we've got somebody who specifically works on our What's Upstate project. So his name is Sean Farrell. He has lived in a lot of major cities, but born and raised in the area, went to Whitesboro. So he really has that, Utica's got everything that a major city does. He's lived in Miami and Atlanta and New York and, on the West Coast, and I can go on and on. So he really, has a love and a passion for the area, and so he kind of heads up that project. I have a new assistant. Her name is Joanne. She started with us late September, I believe. She's kind of mid-30s, really engaging, loves to talk to our members and really make those connections. You kind of need somebody to navigate. A chamber is like a gym membership. If you don't use it, then, you're not going to lose any weight at the gym if you don't go. So if you don't use your chamber membership, you're not going to see any value in it. So she's really good at, conveying all of those things and different opportunities and ways to get involved. And then I've got somebody brand new, fresh out of college. Her name is McKenna, and she's sharp, but watching, somebody fresh out of college, somebody in her mid-30s, somebody a little older, kind of that different vibe of training and work styles alone, and how they work in the office and what's most conducive.
So important.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a little scary going into a college room these days and what they like and what they want to do. But if they're the future, and whether it's somewhat guided and then we're somewhat taught, it's a combination of both. And in order to fill the catalyst and to fill the next gen, you kind of need to appeal to them as well at some point, right?
Yeah.
And as much as change is hard, it's necessary.
Yeah. So it's really unique kind of working and
fun,
seeing and kind of pulling out different strengths. And that's actually been something to me personally that I've, kind of started feeling a little bit rewarding, is how to grow talent and make sure that, you're giving them the tools to succeed in that position and, for their next position as well. So that's been something that I never really kind of thought about that much. But over the last couple of months, as I've had to, dig a little deeper and, teach people things in the way that they need to be taught, because everybody learns in different ways. So that's kind of been unique and rewarding. So those are our paid staff, but we also, have contracted staff that we work with. We have our ambassadors, people from different businesses. Irene from the Sentinel. They go out and represent us and do some, volunteer work on our behalf. So it's not just your paid staff, right? It's your whole organization and different people, and how do you utilize them, motivate them, keep them engaged.
Yeah. It's nice having different I'll say generations of people, but different levels of
Yeah.
age and how they do things. Is everyone in the office? Anyone doing any hybrid stuff, or is everyone there?
We're mostly an in-person office, but there's definitely days where, we have work that we can do remotely. And if it benefits you, the company, your day, we have that flexibility to do so, and we do so. A lot of our work is in the community, so we just tend to be in the office more, but absolutely, I was at a school before this and had a lot of snow days, so bad weather days, all good working from home if
There
we
you go.
can. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Morgan loves a good flexible schedule. I mean, you gotta. It's hard to-
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
She likes to work from more than just home, though. She likes to work from
Yeah,
all over the place.
It was Boston, then it's going to be Amsterdam, not the city, but still the city.
Yeah. Not the throughway exit when you go into Saratoga.
No, not that one.
Not that
Yeah, I
one.
missed out.
I'm going there for 5 days, actually.
Amsterdam was my canceled COVID vacation. I was supposed to go to Amsterdam to see the tulips, and I
You wanna
never
come?
got them.
Oh no, that my parents always do that. They go there annually, and that's
Yeah.
their trip.
So I missed out on that one. My best friend was living in Amsterdam at the time. Now he's in Canada, but then he's moving to California. So I'm
wow.
I'm gonna go see him in February in
Really
California.
on the run there, your friend.
know.
You
Gotta keep-
running from the law or what?
You got an air tag
no,
on him to figure out where he is.
It's all work related, work job moves.
yeah.
So
Any exciting travel coming up?
exciting travel coming up. So I am getting I don't know if this is exciting, but I'm getting my IOM certificate. So that's Institute of Organizational Management,
Love a
which
good
is
acronym.
a chamber certification. So I will be at the University of Arizona in Tucson in January. And then I'm going to California to Sonoma in February.
Nice.
March probably was St. Patrick's Day, stay local, maybe something in April. So I've got a flight credit I got to use. So I got
Gotta burn that.
Gotta burn it.
yeah,
Can't
let that
gotta
go to
hang
waste.
something.
Just let-
So the I got such a good deal on the California trip. It wasn't worth it to use the flight credit. It's like $296 or $286. So I was like, I'll save the.
Yeah, you got to be strategic with the fly travel.
Really
Yeah.
do.
I mean,
Yeah,
don't want
so
to burn it when you
save.
don't have to.
Right. So I'll save that one. But yeah, I love to travel. For a while with my son in sports, it got a little difficult, so I didn't get to do as many adventurous things for a little while. But I'm kind of back at it, and I always have the itch, whether it's international or domestic. Even like locally. Even going to like places in New York that you haven't been. I've got like a little
You
file
ever
where I
set
save
up a
all
meeting
my.
with a chamber to figure out what they're doing, or how much is turned into a work credit? Or,
Yeah,
That's right. You can slide that in.
So we went to Ithaca in June. I was there for 2 nights. It was kind of funny. They had some sort of like downtown Ithaca festival that they have when all the college students leave. And it was literally right outside.
Good Riddance Festival? Is that
Yeah.
what you mean?
It was like an arts and cultural festival, but right outside the plaza. One of the things they had bands all day, but then at night they had this silent rave where everybody was wearing headphones like this.
Right.
And they play music because of the hotel. Like you're downtown. It was really, I'm like, could we do that somehow? Like, where do we
Sure,
incorporate
brainstorming,
this?
yeah.
But that's how you get good ideas. And, and there was some other things that they did with their mural trail that I sent to Sarah at Oneida County Tourism. Different things that you don't always have to recreate the wheel. You can,
You gotta get out there and see the big picture once in a while. You get too kind of consumed with what your daily focus is to get some new ideas.
Yeah, get
what you're
fresh
doing well,
ideas
but
and-
also what you could improve on. Or
yeah.
that's a heck of an idea.
A city's still a city. It's just finding out who's doing it well and
Yeah.
what you can do. I mean, of course, you have your own ideas, but it's much quicker to copy than it is to come up with something brand new. But
be
Yeah.
inspired by.
be inspired.
Be inspired
yeah,
by.
that's a good
There
way
you
of.
go.
Yeah, we're going inspiration route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just easier to
So.
copy, but
But,
Totally
yeah.
steal. Yeah.
I'll just steal that.
So, but my sister actually works at the St. Lawrence County Chamber, so she likes to steal a lot of stuff from Utica. So that feels like a little.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Do you,
Like
does,
a
it ever
little-
go,
It's
is it a one-way
flattery, right?
street, or does it ever come back this way? Anything you get there?
She's just
So
killing it.
their chambers. So every chamber is unique because
Yeah.
they're set up a little differently. So they incorporate their tourism department with their chamber.
Okay.
So she works for the tourism department. So she would work for like Oneida County Tourism. And the first thing I did was introduce her to all of our people here. And so I can't really steal her projects per se because they're a little different and their county's just very different. So, keep my eye out. I'm on their email list.
Just in case.
It's the two-city problem, though. You got Rome and Utica, doing very similar things. And I think that's something to look at eventually. I mean, we're not that different. We're not that far apart. Similar residents. I don't know. I'm
Similar businesses.
similar.
I mean, there's
I don't
certainly
know.
some autonomy there. Like there is some different features, but there are a lot of businesses that have an office in Rome.
in
Utica.
in
And if you have, a restaurant like Sugar Beets in Rome, don't you want the people in Utica to be your customers? Like, so oops, I just hit the mic again.
That's all
So
good.
there is like some crossover there too, like where some synergy is beneficial to the businesses and, even residents looking for new places, new things.
yeah. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Pardsy, how you doing over there?
I'm doing great. I'm getting a little low over here, but I'm doing all right.
You doing okay?
Morgan, he needs to freshen up.
Working on it. She gave Morgan the snap.
Morgan's like,
No. Wes on his own.
You got to go to hockey practice.
I do got hockey practice soon.
Yeah, no, you got to somewhat behave.
Yeah.
No,
It is a Monday.
we didn't do a great job having these on Mondays. It's just a lot going on.
It happens.
You can't
and all
go
of
into a
sudden
happy hour
We're on
right
Mondays.
after.
Now we're stuck on Mondays.
Yeah.
We gotta work on that.
My next event is at Prop, so I'm all good.
Fair enough.
That is the nice thing about, being in Chamber World. A lot of like your evening events are, bar and restaurant
Right.
themed.
It's
and
work too.
It is work too. So
You feel validated.
Yeah, tell my wife that it doesn't work.
No.
I got a business after hours. No, you don't. No. Nope. Gotta get home.
yeah. So
I think it's great. I love hearing everything that's happening in Utica, the chamber, the interactions happening more and more between the tourism. I know that Rome there's definitely more interaction. I think we have a long way to go still, but I think there's more of that
getting there.
happening. Yeah, we're getting there. And sometimes it's changes the people too. I think we're having seeing some cycles of, we have new mayors. We have, you've been in your position for a little over 2.5 years. New chamber president in Rome.
Kristen's new.
New Sarah's new at the Oneida County Tourism. I think it's an opportunity to sit down at
Start
the table
anew and see what we can put together.
Figure out what's
Yeah.
going on.
So Kristen, Denise, who is Denise Kavanaugh at the Herkimer County Chamber, the three of us had lunch recently and talked about different ways we can work together and partner together. And, are there some bigger things that would be beneficial to our region that we did together instead of on our own? So more to come. More to come on that. And I'm sure you'll see us doing, some different things together. And I know Catalyst and Ripe are talking about doing a trivia night together. I think maybe doing like the golf thing like you did would be a great partnership for the two of them to work on. So definitely think that there's other, synergistic ways that we can work together and keep the momentum going because it just benefits everybody.
I think that's a great area to grow. I think we've heard a couple times that, and if you mentioned it, that the people do come here, but then don't know where to go next to meet your next group of friends. It even if they're business friends or whatever it may be. I met through him through the chamber. It wasn't, even though we're both from here, it was just something that aligned. I would love that, and if people have feedback on what they would like to see, I think it's something we all have to work on. And making new friends and creating those new experiences. I love what at least. Rome is doing something kind of like the Catalyst. They're very fresh. They're trying to figure out their path, but those kind of events are absolutely needed. And
Speaking of trivia nights, are you any good at trivia? Are you any good at trivia?
I suck.
Well,
I feel like I'm passively intelligent.
but you're actually
I am
smart. I
terrible
mean, I'm
at
thinking
trivia.
for myself, by the way.
so
Man, I
I was
don't know
accepted
why.
to be on Jeopardy.
Whoa!
Wait, hold the shit.
This did
time
not
out.
make my
Wait,
notes here.
Not
where
on the
is that,
list.
Morgan?
We're gonna have
I
to
do
shit
not.
can Morgan
Did
for
you
this
see
one.
that?
I did not see this.
I don't see
Not
that.
on the
Let me
list.
take a look.
Wait a minute.
Wait, what
was-
Kevin? Tell us the Jeopardy.
How did this
I
happen?
didn't actually go because I was pregnant, but I was accepted to be on Jeopardy, and a lot of times the answer is in the
Can I
clue.
go,
so
can I
you
go
gotta,
backward?
you
Like,
gotta
how do you
play.
apply to be on Jeopardy?
Yeah,
How
I
does
gotta
that
start from the
work?
beginning.
I was
thing?
living in DC, so they had, I saw you fill out an online test, and then you go and you do the buzzer test, and then you.
The buzzer test. I want
Yeah,
to
you
hear
gotta
the
do
buzzer
a-
test.
you gotta do a
Like, how
live,
good
like-
reflexes you have? or-
Yeah, I mean they ask you questions, but it's the live kind of test, and,
Yeah.
and then you get accepted to be on. I've got the letter somewhere saved.
I'm not going to a
So you
trivia night
were
with that.
selected to be
Jeez.
on the show. Mm-hmm. And you said, nah.
Yeah, it was. I was 6 months pregnant. It just wasn't working. Like the time didn't work.
Weren't feeling it.
Time didn't work, so passed on it, and then
All right, well, you
never
two
got
can
back to
go
it
at it.
again.
I'm just going to be.
Can
in
you
the
get
back.
like a pass to like say, hey, 6 months I'm in?
yeah, no, it was
No,
then
just
or
that was that or
this is your time. Yes, no. So, I mean, it may have changed. That was 20 years ago. So
Damn,
wow.
21.
That's a fun fact.
21 years ago.
that is.
Is that on your business card or anything?
No. I've got a lot of unique, fun little.
I mean, now anything else? I mean,
As we're at the end here, I feel like it's getting
when
ahead.
I do, I do a lot of like mixers where they make you do fun facts, right? Just part of my job and being in.
Right, yeah.
sure.
I've polished the Hope Diamond. That's one of my good ones. So I worked at the Smithsonian. One of my coworkers' husband, he was in charge of gemology, and that was his. So I got to polish the Hope Diamond one. That's ones I used. I hiked Machu Picchu. I think I mentioned that.
Yeah, that's a pretty
Yeah,
good
that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
At Smithsonian, we were like, if I can get away with stealing this one artifact, I'd be set for life. Did that thought ever cross your mind?
No, because it's cursed. You don't want to steal the Hope Diamond. It's cursed.
Well, maybe not that one. Maybe
Yeah.
a little
Something,
lower. I don't want to go swinging
Yeah.
for the fences right away.
I fear being in jail. I don't think I'd be good locked up. I don't think
Any
that's really
shenanigans
good
go
for me.
on amongst anyone there or no? Nothing went out the back door at the Smithsonian that you know of?
That I know of. No, I was. That was my first job out of college. I wasn't privy to that kind of stuff.
That's where the
I'm
gossip
sure.
happens.
I
though,
thought
feel like,
maybe
you
there'd
know?
be some secret
I can
movie
tell you.
here.
I can tell you secret other stuff, but not
Hey,
not about
now we're getting somewhere.
not about artifacts being stolen. It wasn't.
People getting worked on in the Ice Age exhibit or what?
So I was actually like my department was like the educational department. So we supported all the museums. We were in a museum, so we weren't around.
Gotcha.
We were actually in between the Freer and the Sackler galleries.
So did you also get a bid to the Wheel of Fortune? And what else? I mean, that just blew my mind. I mean, that's a big deal.
All right, so Kari's on the trivia team,
Yeah, we're gonna have to get
and she's great at naming teams. We know from fantasy football,
Which will be bleeped out.
which will be bleeped out.
which will be bleeped out. Let it be known. Are you going to partake in this trivia contest that's being lined up with Ripe and Catalyst, or do you just
Kristen
MC?
does, I guess. I don't know.
Will you team up with her, or you will go against
Our
her?
groups have to.
How's this going to
Can,
work?
can we have
Yeah.
a chamber board versus Utica board, or like give into that, or what?
I feel like Greg would be decent.
I just want to be there. I'm gonna be a terrible addition. I know random. I know
I like
random
the three
shit.
That's
sports
what-
questions that are so
Yeah.
obvious that
Yeah.
everyone gets.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
should've
what
made it
trivia is
harder.
all about. But a lot of times it's in the question. That's what you got to pay attention to.
Oh,
Ooh.
You got to pay attention to the way the question's worded.
that's your secret?
Yeah, that's my secret.
So the SATs and ACTs, did you rock those because you knew?
I did fairly well on those. Yeah,
Okay. Well, there you go. This all
What-
makes
I
sense.
got a 1460, I believe.
Wow. It goes that high?
That's probably
That's
you got
amazing.
too.
Well done.
Yeah, I think maybe it was a 1430. There were 1430 or 1460.
I'm not even
One
gonna
of the two.
mention mine then.
Yeah, no one's going to. Morgan, anything to add there?
I didn't take it.
Didn't take it.
Wait, what?
Testing optional?
No.
Are
I took-
you that much younger?
You took the ACTs?
I took ACTs.
Oh,
Testing optional is a
Yeah, I
farce.
did.
My
by the
son
way.
never took it because of
And
COVID.
I don't even know what I
Hmm.
got, so.
And mostly I was
Don't
being
ask.
cheap. I'm like, no schools are taking it, so like, why am I going to pay?
it is a change that
100
is
and
happening.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And now they say, at least from what I hear in that realm, is testing optional really means you should take the test because it's not helping you.
It's not helping you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should take it.
So you're a trivia guy too? I learned
No,
something
I'm
about
not.
you every time.
I kind
thought
of
you said
stink
you
at
were.
it.
Oh,
My father-in-law is annoyingly good at it.
yeah.
I also read a lot too, so that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, I read a book every week, so
Oh wow.
A book a week? Brad hasn't read a book since
I don't think I read one.
Eighth
I've
grade.
always thought I was adopted.
Where the red fern grows,
My
eighth
mother's
grade.
an English teacher. My dad was a
Yeah.
actual publisher and writer, and then there's me. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I was definitely adopted.
although I read a lot more like just fiction, like
yeah,
just to escape than
Oh,
yeah.
like in lieu of watching a TV
Yeah.
show, you're
Yeah.
reading a
Read.
chapter or two in the
so
book.
so no,
Yeah.
no YouTube rabbit holes or just that's
No,
where you're
not
getting-
YouTube rabbit
Yeah.
holes.
That's
no,
me. Yeah. Okay.
no. I will binge a series though.
Oh,
Nothing good comes to mind as of late.
I was gonna say,
though.
what's the show? I was
I
gonna
don't
say,
know what's on right now.
no. What's the last show you binged?
It's the last show I binged.
Like really got into?
Well, I guess I just watched the last 4 episodes of The Crown just came out. And we're waiting for the last 4 with Will and Kate.
Oh,
And then they'll be done with the series. So Diana just died, which is not a spoiler. I mean people know that.
yeah.
So
I wonder how
I would have got that right in trivia.
yeah, you would have got that right.
I would have got that one.
how many people out
So I
there are
guess
like
that's the
she
last
dies
one.
in episode 4.
Might put a
Yeah.
spoiler alert on the bottom of the screen here for
Yeah.
the podcast.
So, but yeah, I guess that's the last one. But
All right, that's fun. Well, I mean, I'm still wrapping my head around Jeopardy, but anything else to like to add? Chamber, your position, anything we didn't cover?
anything
Floor
we
is
didn't
Big
cover.
rallying cry
I
from the
know,
chamber. Or
I know.
say hi to
rallying
everyone
cry.
out there. Any special shout outs?
I guess like I would just tell people to get involved. I know I use the analogy. It's kind of like the gym. If you don't go,
I
you
like that one.
can't
I do like that,
get
yeah.
anything out of it. But I think that there's really something for everybody. And if business after hours isn't your thing, maybe government affairs is, or maybe you need that educational, small business council every month and in different ways to, grow your business, or, we're creative, right? So
At least sign up for
Chamber-
the newsletter and see what's going on.
yeah,
there, you know?
chamber folk are very adaptive and creative. So if you have a need, we just did a little sip and shop for Abode, and try to do different things to support members in different ways. We've done different scavenger hunts for MVHS. We organized a food walking tour for their employees when they came downtown. So we really try to meet our businesses and their needs, because they're constantly evolving. So we need to be too. So I think that's kind of, keep being innovative, keep being creative, because it takes all of the businesses within a community to make a community thrive. A business isn't going to move here without a great arts and culture and sports and restaurants. They want to be in a place that thrives so they can attract employees. So it really takes all of those businesses to make a community. So
I love
I
it.
think that's probably the biggest rallying cry. Come out for New Year's Eve. It's going to be a great time. Really looking forward to that event. And
And regardless of the weather,
stay-
the weather's kind of part of the fun.
it is. Listen, we
We're
live
hardy
in
folk.
upstate.
We're
We
hardy
live in
folk, and it's
upstate
kind
New
of part of the
York.
challenge.
You know
I
what
like
you're getting
it.
into.
There's no
Kinda
bad
rooting for bad
weather.
weather.
There's just bad clothes. That's what I say.
Right,
There's
right.
no bad weather.
You
There's
just, you just didn't
bad
dress
clothes.
properly. Yeah.
So, but yeah, and we've got a packed schedule for 2024. Trying to firm up 2 more dates, and then I think we'll be releasing everything in 2024. So,
Excellent. Well done. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for coming
Well,
on.
works
We
for me.
appreciate
yeah,
it.
thanks for
Cheers.
having me. It's
Thanks
been
for
fun.
joining.
Fun
See
way
if I
to
can,
start a
if I can
Monday.
reach all the way over.
Oh, Parsi.
Over the microphone.
It's all good.
So,
Thanks for
but-
joining us.
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Do we end with another round?
Another round.
We need a close.
I know.
Here's to another round.
I think you just
think
did
you
it.
I
You
just
just
did
did
it. Here's to
love
another
it.
round.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. All your guests will do that from now on.
I can't believe Jeopardy didn't make that sheet.
What else was on the sheet? Was everything on there?
Unbelievable.
What's wrong?